I always loved music. From when I was a child, I loved music. When I was very young, my father used to play classical music. He used to play Wagner, Puccini, Verdi, operas he used to play. But he used to play it at a deafening volume. It was a little heavy at the time for me, but I grew to like it. And then later on, when I went to school in England, I got into jazz. I just loved jazz. I played records all the time, and I wanted to be as immersed in it as I could. One of the jobs that I created for myself was to teach water skiing. So I got a water ski concession at Half Moon Hotel, and at Half Moon there was a band, a jazz band, a kind of cocktail jazz, and I really liked them. One evening, I think I'd probably had a couple too many rums, and I said to the band, I'd love to record you guys. I knew nothing about recording anybody. I'd never been in a recording studio, and knew nothing about it. So we all rented a Volkswagen van, drove into Kingston, went in the studio. I went into the control room with the engineer, but they played the first tune, and then after that they all looked up at me, like, how was it, or what do we do next? And I found myself in the role of producing something I had no knowledge whatsoever about, and I was kind of umming and ahhing, and they said, well, you'd like us to do another version? I said, yes, okay. At the moment they started playing the next version, I knew that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And at that time, the only music really being recorded in Jamaica was mento, which was Jamaican folk music, or calypso, and most of those were for tourists. They weren't really designed for the local community. When I made this first record, I was trying to emulate some of the records that the sound system guys used to play. The sound system guys were these guys who had incredible speakers, massive speakers, and somebody would book them to play at a certain location. So after a bit, my records started to get more and more slick, and they did very well in Jamaica because it was like right at the beginning of Jamaicans hearing Jamaicans singing music which was emulating American R&B records at the time.
A new nation is born.
Coming into 1962, and Jamaica was becoming independent. So I thought, I'll go to England, because I was selling quite a lot of records to England at that time, the Jamaican community in England. So I went to England, and I had a little Mini, and I'd drive all around the periphery of London where all the Jamaican communities were, going into the shops, selling the records, and it was an incredible time. I absolutely loved it, because when people first heard the records, it was like they were coming from the moon. You know what I mean? It was not like anything else.
The lion says, I am king, and I reign.
Jamaican music started really with ska music. Ska was very up-tempo, very fast, great kind of dance music. And then it went to rocksteady, which was more cool, more laid back. And then reggae came in, and reggae stuck. At that time, an amazing amount of recordings were done in Jamaica. At one time, Jamaica had the most records being released a week than anywhere in the world. It was an extraordinary explosion of talent. There was a band called the Scatolites, which was the main band, which backed, must have been 300 or 400 singles. And also there was a fantastic band, which was a party band, called Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. He brought into his band initially ska and then reggae. That's really how it happened. It happened from the records. It just spread. The Jamaican community in England embraced it. It was their music. They were there in England suffering the cold and misery, and this music was intoxicating. And clubs started and just grew from there. A lot of the musicians were Rastafarians, because Rastafarians were outcasts in the 50s. Nobody would give them jobs. So they were all self-employed. They were fishermen, carpenters, musicians. There was a general feeling in the early 50s that they were really scary. There was a lot of propaganda against them, and it couldn't have been further from the truth. It's their music, really. The Jamaican music is really their music. The first hit, in fact, was a song called "Oh Carolina."
Oh Carolina.
That was the first big hit, which Shaggy did 20 or 30 years later. And that was a Rastafari band with the drummers, African drumming style and everything. It's extraordinary that there would be this much music that has come out of this little island. Jamaican music changes and it evolves.
I put a spell on you.
Everywhere you go, you'll hear English music, American music, and Jamaican music. It's like a miracle. I was lucky enough to be around and recognized it and promoted it.
I ain't lying. Yeah. I can't stand